defense is I have plumbers downstairs trying to decide if how the plumbing is livable right now. So I'm a little bit, yeah. We're just holding our fingers, and I just said you can't talk to me between this time and this time, but you tell me when we're ready, Paul.
Okay, 1 second. We are live and streaming. Go for it, Holly.
Okay. So if you were in the Facebook group listening to this live, thank you. And I hope you are joining back in again. I apologize. It was my mistake. I went in the wrong way. So here we are now. Welcome to Wellspring, which is your source of inspiration, guidance, support, and vision for your growing spiritual business or your starting spiritual business. And so this is a weekly series that I'm coming in every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern time and 6 a.m. Pacific. And if you can't make it at those times, they're archived on the Facebook page, they're on the YouTube page. And Paul's going to pop something in the chat later to tell you if you want to get notifications and reminders that can be helpful about when it's going live, but also remind you that there's something that you can go back to and listen to and connect with when the time is right for you. So today, I'm really excited about talking about this topic today. It's not going to be subtle. And I'm going to be actually pretty direct about what I consider one of the most critical energies that I have seen spiritual business owners shy away from. Yet it is critical for you to create the life that you wish, the business or the practice that you are envisioning. I mean, I talk to spiritual business people all the time, and it's like we feel something that wants to come through us, right? We like, oh, I know I'm here for that. Whether it's global, whether it's local, you feel that you're here to make a change. And this critical aspect is so important, and it's the energy of money. So as we talk about money, I want to just, before we dive into what I consider the good part, I want to take a step back and look at money. The reality is, whether you like it or not, money is an essential aspect of life on the planet at this time. Now, I know you may wish it was different. Many people do. There are many people who want to cut a new path by working more in the realms of bartering. We could have a whole topic on bartering and whether that's a good idea or not. However, if you wish to create a life, a practice, a business that's sustainable, you're really going to want to work with becoming aware of what your foundational energies and beliefs are around money, and you want to create it and feel that paradigm shift to create a positive relationship with it. And more importantly than anything else, in my opinion, is not a positive relationship with money, but positive relationship with the energy of money. Money, the dollars and cents, or the yen, or wherever you are in the world, whatever form of currency, that represents the energy of money. But the energy of money is actually an energetic flow, just like so many other things. And again, let's take another step back, and we want to look at history and collective beliefs, collective consciousness. I believe, the way I think of collective consciousness, just to give us all the same foundational understanding, is what we all have come to believe or understand or think is true. And I view collective consciousness as almost like this atmospheric field around our planet. Many people believe collective consciousness to be true, and we believe it's to be true because the collective consciousness is really a historical reference. Based on our experiences of humanity on the planet, there have been certain thought forms and beliefs that have been created, but they've been created by our action and our reaction to life on the planet. The collective consciousness can change. And when we're in big moments like this in the awakening, this is a great time where paradigms shift, and we change our beliefs. And some of us who are changing beliefs are actually feeding new possibilities into this collective consciousness. It's not a fixed energy, it's very dynamic. So when it comes to the energy of money, let's just talk about some of the thoughts and the beliefs that actually reflect some of these collective conscious attitudes towards money. And you may see yourself in some of it. You may be aware of it. You may have grown up with this. You may still be struggling with this. If you have some choice thoughts or beliefs or some sayings around money, feel free to pop it in the chat. Let's throw them all in the ring. I'm not going to go through all of them, but one of the very, very common ones is money is the root of all evil. How many of you have heard that one? I don't know that you could be on this planet and not have heard that one, right? Money is the root of all evil. Now, if this were true, it makes a lot of sense that we don't want to have anything to do with it, right? Well, if money's evil, then we don't want to embrace it or want to have more of it, or even, and especially if we view ourselves as an energy worker, a spiritual person here for transformation, if we have that active in our field, we're going to not want to be part of money at all. There's also another one that says money doesn't buy you happiness. Now, you could say, well, that's absolutely true. People with more money aren't necessarily happier. That's true. Happy people could be happy no matter what financial circumstance they're in, right? And there's even been more anecdotal evidence around the world in some of the impoverished areas. At least we would say that relative to the Western world, some of the people are quite happy and content, and they don't have the money. So money may not buy you happiness, but if you believe in that thought form and you want to have a happy life, again, you're not going to want to choose to go towards happiness. There's also another thought form that doesn't have quite a succinct saying to it, but let me know in the chat if you've been aware of this, that if you see, or family members have seen, people around you have seen people with money, there, you know, there's always like, there's something suspicious about them that they have that money. They're, you know, people might think, well, there's something maybe inherently bad for them to have that money, or what did they do to get that money? Okay. How many of you had that in your energy field or even your upbringing? Like we can't trust people with money because if they have money, they probably did something happened that wasn't on the up and up for them to have money. I've also heard a lot over the years where there's inherent judgment against people who have money, like, oh, they're a trust fund baby. Like the fact that they have money and their predecessors in their life created a trust fund that they have for them, like that's inherently a problem. Or I've heard this so many times in the spiritual realm about particularly like female light workers. Oh, well, they have a wealthy husband. Or they didn't have to work for their money. How many of you have heard that? Or if you really want to be honest, have you even felt that? This is like this judgment against people who have money. There's also some beliefs around this. It's really in the scarcity model. Is if I start having more money, then somebody else is going to have less, as if there's a limited supply. And if I have more pieces of the pie, then somebody else will have less. And there's that idea also. So people don't necessarily, like if there's a sense of greediness, if I have what I want, then somebody automatically is losing out. So these are all thought forms. There's also one, and this really applies to all of us here. If you're in the healing arts, energy medicine, personal transformation, coaching, in whatever way you do this in the world and your passion draws you, there's this energy that's still prevalent about the starving healer, right? It's a version of the starving artist. It's the starving healer. And I've had people say, but I don't want to, or I don't feel comfortable charging for money because my gifts are from God. Therefore, I shouldn't feel comfortable charging in equal measure for my service and my gifts. Okay, I'm sure you can relate to some or many of these. Now, here's one of the absolute biggest, I'm going to call it a myth that I've seen in the realm of those who are doing light work, energy work, psychics, mediums, channels, spiritual coaches, is that money is not spiritual. How many of you can relate to that? Money is not spiritual. So because if you have this foundational belief, or you know people who have that deeply held belief that money is not spiritual, you will have an aversion to inviting it in, cultivating a relationship with money, and feeling able to embrace money and the vision and the fulfillment that you have for your spiritual business, and following that, what's calling you forward in the ways that you want to help other people. Okay, so today, I think I've pressed in on all that yuckiness well enough for all of us to get really clear about these are really potent energies. But today I want to focus on opening us all up to a new point of view around money and how it relates to being spiritual. Because as long as you hold this belief about money not being spiritual, or any of the other things that I've mentioned, it makes sense that you don't want to invite it in, or you're in this massive tug of war over the energy of money. I want to move forward. I want to be able to help people. I want to be in energetic balance, but this money thing, I don't want to deal with. As I've already mentioned before, you have this desire to be out in the world helping people, helping to heal. You want to help people thrive in their lives, release old patterns. And in our world today, it does include the exchange of energy. And money is our classic form of exchanging energy. So, how many of you believe, really down to your core, you might even teach other people or coach other people that everything is energy? So if you believe that everything is energy, type "of course" in the chat. Of course it is. And you know that, or you're aspiring to really live that energy, that everything is money, that we're all connected, everything is connected. And everything in this world, all that we experience is energy. And it's all of the universe, everything. It's all source, it's all God, it's all divine, it's all in oneness, however you define it. And all that love, all that you love, and all that you dislike are part of that energetic, unified field. And if everything's energy, and all the things you love and all the things you hate are part of this energetic field, you literally cannot be separate from the field. We're all part of it. And money is an inherent part of this oneness. Inherently, money is a flow of energy. It is not evil. So we want to begin to shift our focus to where money is good. So who in the world is doing great things with money, or the resources that they have available to them? And that question is where can you see money being good? Where money's good if you're just supporting your family, isn't it? Money's helpful when you're bringing it in and you're able to monetize your life so you have food and shelter and all the things that you need relative to your life. There are also people out in the world doing miraculous things with money. So part of it is, where do we want to put our attention and what do we want to magnify? Because we all know where we put our attention to grows. And that's not just for us and our awareness, but it actually grows. So first and foremost, if we want to deconstruct some of this, is we want to start observing the goodness of money. And it's observable, it's findable. And as you begin to find and notice and appreciate, whether it's money in your world or the way you see money doing good in the world, you magnify a new truth for yourself. And as you magnify a new truth for yourself, that consciousness, that thought form ripples into the collective. Okay, that comes out of us being in a field of connected energy. So we want to begin to open up to money being a great energetic source. And so I'm going to bring this really to an obvious place. If any of you have a job that's outside of your light worker practice, or you've had a job, I'm guessing you've all had a job at some point, and you went to work, and the energy that you contributed to that job, you were compensated for. You were brought into balance with it, with money. And that money, what does it do for you? It provides for you. It enhances your human experience with your home. It might impact positively your family, what you can do, how you've been able to study things, how you've maybe been able to take courses that have brought you in the direction of this passion of your light work. Every time you go out into the world to buy food, clothing, necessities, or even your indulgences, you're using money. So there are areas of your life that you're willing to receive money in exchange for the energy you've contributed. And we use money in every single area of our life. Yet what's funny is, as light workers, we then hesitate in our spiritual practice as if we're going to taint our work or our life if we include money in that aspect of our life. Yet, if we begin to open up to every single area of our life being spiritual, everything, and not saying this is spiritual and this is non-spiritual. What you do at your job every day, taking care of your loved ones, paying your bills, cleaning your home, washing your toilet, putting gas in your car, whatever it is you do every single day is all spiritual. We have to redefine these things. And as we begin to put our awareness on these two main, as we begin to open up our awareness to these two main concepts, we'll begin to shift our relationship with the energy of money. Number one, start noticing and affirming and claiming, if you will, that everything is spiritual, not just our spiritual practice, not just this is spiritual, this is non-spiritual. You know, cleaning up after my dog, that's non-spiritual. Sure it is, if you choose to see it that way, because it's all in this field of unity and oneness of source. And as we see money as an active part in our lives, then we can begin to just soften those worries, fears, and concerns about money not being spiritual. And then the second part of this is, as I've already mentioned, we want to create a new relationship with the energy of money so that we're willing and open to seeing it really dovetail with our thoughts about all of life being spiritual. Now, so one of the best starting points, here's my tip. One of my tips here is one of the very best starting points to shift your energetic relationship with money is to begin to be in gratitude for it every single time you interact with it. I mean, every single time. I know this is very simple, but this is a game changer. Each and every time you either spend money or you receive money, thank it. Feel gratitude. You know, as you're swiping your card to pay for your groceries, thank the money that's there. As you're receiving the change at the store, when you've paid for something, thank the money. As you notice your automatic payment for your job coming into your bank account, thank money, whether it's going out or coming in, not just thanking it when it comes in. We want to be in balance with it. Thank the flow. And the flow is as it goes out and as it comes in. All right. And as you do this, you are shifting your perception and your experience with money from fear and worry to one of gratitude. And we all know, we've heard this for years about how transforming it is to be in an energy of gratitude for anything. So let's begin applying this with money. And as you begin to shift your view of money via the energy of gratitude, you will begin to transform the energy around money, and you will begin to open up to the goodness that it can bring you in your life. This is the first step to opening up to the positivity and help release you from that inner tug of war around this powerful energy of money. Now, the other thing I want to talk about this is, raise your hand or pop in the chat, yes. Do you feel like in your spiritual practice, whether it's going or whether you're dreaming about it, it doesn't matter. You feel like you're here to change the world, change paradigms, thought forms, experiences, right? I'm guessing it's all of you. Because you know, if you've interacted with somebody and maybe they've healed something, they feel better, they feel relief, they feel better about themselves, they know how to move forward, they're creating the positive movement in their life. So for you, if you already say, I'm here to change paradigms, we want to become very aware of the paradigms that we're believing and say, is that really true? And am I willing to let that paradigm go and say, I'm going to choose to change that paradigm because I'm a paradigm shifter. And for you to have a successful life and a satisfying practice or business, you want to be in a really easy, loving, positive flow with the energy of money. Now, we could go on and we could talk about money for a long time, because there's the energy of how you give back. So you feel like if I'm getting more, I have a way to give back. We can talk about that. We can talk about all kinds of things with money to create this openness and this sense of flow and a sense of empowerment around money. But one of the things I want to share, and I'm going to pop in the next couple of days, something else in the Facebook group around this. There's some really great books around the energy of money. And this idea that I was talking about before about really being in gratitude around money, I recommend this book, Happy Money by Ken Honda. Paul can type that into the chat, but Happy Money by Ken Honda. Now he's Japanese. And so if you just type in Ken Honda, there's all kinds of information on the internet about him. But he talks about arigato money, or okane arigato. Okane is money in Japanese, and arigato is thank you. So thank the money. And he's just been brilliant at transforming people's ideas and relationships with money. There's another book called It's Not Your Money. I love this book. Paul and I have spent a lot of time working with this book. It's Not Your Money by Tosha Silver. I highly recommend these books if you want to start creating new paradigms with the energy of money, so that not only you thrive, you can help other people thrive. Because as you are abundant, you help bring that energy, you become a vortex of that, and you magnetize people to you, so you have greater impact and you feel like, I'm doing my mission. This is all tied together, and we can do it in partnership with money by seeing it as spiritual, seeing it as not as a lack and limitation, but there's an abundance for everyone, for whoever aligns with it. So pop into the chat what's been meaningful and helpful for you with regard to this, what you want to practice moving forward. And the ongoing conversation around this and any of our Wellspring topics will be happening in our private Facebook community called Conscious Conversations with Your Business. Some of you might be watching it in there and you're already connected with it. If you're not, I'd love to have you join us there. Paul's going to put the link to that Facebook group in the chat, Conscious Conversations with Your Business. And it is a private community. So you just need to answer a couple super easy questions to get into the group. but it's where we want to magnify this conversation about thriving light workers, spiritual healers, life coaches, paradigm shifters, because it's time for us to thrive. And as we do, we begin to change the world, we add to the collective consciousness, and we fulfill what we really feel is our mission and our purpose while we're here. And also in that Facebook group, you can ask questions, connect with others in the community, support each other. You might find some meaningful connections and friendships in there as well. Additionally, if you're somebody you like reminders, whether they're email reminders, or even if you're somebody who likes text reminders, Paul's going to put a link in the chat also that you can go sign up to get email reminders every single time we're going to do this. And if you like text reminders, you have an option for that. You don't have to sign up for that, but we want to make it as easy for you to show up and learn and grow and thrive. So it is such a pleasure to be here with each and every one of you. Again, I apologize for my problem with the tech in the beginning, and I'm so grateful that each of you were here. So much love to you all. I'll see you next Friday. Bye-bye.